Okay, we have to do an ethics paper, so let's go ahead and get this knocked out. All right. On this ethics paper for this semester, we'll consider the fundamental problem of software availability and reliability, aka testing, because y'all have all been good at testing, right? Right? Right?
Never.
I'm the best at testing.
Okay. Most applications we write are viable with low success rate, aka if you're running a game on your phone, if the game crashes, well, at least no one died, right? Health equipment might be a little different. For example, the Therac 25 was a radiation therapy machine that, due to software errors, gave lethal doses of radiation to patients. Yes, people actually died because the software for the system was not written correctly.
Good job. Is it like a semicolon that was like
No, here's how one error was produced. There were multiple errors. This was the common one. You know, you'd have the patient inside the machine. The technician would mistakenly type X into the computer, which signified the X-ray beam, aka the high radiation beam. Obviously a mistake. They would immediately realize the error and change the X to an E for the electron beam, aka the low radiation beam for the patient. Now, this is radiation, so they're obviously treating cancer of the patient, right? Okay, the machine showed it was ready to start the treatment after that because they changed it from high energy to low energy. This sequence occurred in less than 8 seconds. Keep that in mind, all this occurred in less than 8 seconds for this error to happen. Also, another, by the way, in this particular sequence in this time frame was never tried in the original testing of the machine. They never actually tested for this, but let's go ahead and keep going. Then the computer gave the signal of beam ready, and the technician pressed B to deliver the beam to the patient, but the computer would respond with an error message, which would tell them that they need to go and try again. So the technician would repeat this process and deliver another beam to the patient yet again and again and again. You can read more about the investigation here. I think that web link's down, so I've added a therac.pdf. Well, hopefully I have. And it was determined that the software at fault was developed by a single programmer. The single programmer focused on integrating the software with the hardware and spent little time on testing only the software piece. The system was tested as a whole, but the software itself was not tested.
Who got in trouble? Was it the project?
Oh, that's a great question. Who should get in trouble?
The company that hired him.
Company?
Because they put out the equipment. So
Okay.
It's their
Yeah,
fault.
no, yeah,
Well,
because they didn't
do
hire
quality
any
testing.
testers, so.
Yeah.
Even after the program was done programming, you should have your own team
Yeah, it's
testing.
like-
Yeah.
not his fault.
Testing.
Yes.
Especially if you're doing that.
Well, that's good. Every once in a while I get a person that thinks the programmer's at fault, but while many people may be quick to conclude that it's solely the programmer's fault, it can be more complex, and industry software testing is a financial investment. A company must pay a team of programmers, programmers and others, to test their system. As the law of diminishing returns kicks in, the cost of testing increases with the need of higher availability / reliability of the system. Since companies must compete, they are tempted to reduce software testing in order to provide a lower cost product. So, well, the first question is how much testing should they do for this piece of equipment?
Enough to not kill
A
someone.
lot, okay, but how much is a lot?
Enough to not kill someone.
Now, we did go over the halting problem, right? Right, so we can't prove that this machine works correctly in all cases. Hopefully, we've mathematically shown that that's impossible. So the question is how much, since we can't test to 100%, what level of testing do we provide?
3 or 4.
Nine, how many, 9 nines?
I know it's a 99%.
No, just, okay, 99%?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. All right, let's go look at that up.
Could you imagine the amount of money you have to spend to
Well,
Actually, that one's not that expensive.
you have to test to make sure that all the situations that could happen,
But you can't. You've shown it.
that could happen in like the workplace, I don't know.
All right, so if we do availability of what's 99% or 2 nines, that means, let's see what's over here. And over here is downtime per day, 14.4 minutes. Are those good odds?
So that's how much time we would have to like.
That's how much time it would be not running correctly.
Oh,
14 minutes out of the day.
well, that's pretty bad.
If that's a pacemaker, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that would be. All right, so 99% is probably not going to cut it.
So it has to be 99.
Well, how many? So 3 nines is 1.4, 4 nines 8.6,
8 nines.
5 nines 864 milliseconds. Well, hold on. How do you figure this out? Also, here's the other problem. Each time you add a 9, it exponentially increases your testing.
Yes.
So that literally it actually more than doubles the amount of the cost of testing it.
Dang.
You
Wouldn't that cut on the
gotta go to
cost
5
of
times
fixing it later on?
What's that?
Wouldn't that cut on the cost of fixing it later on?
Yeah, 5 nines.
You think 5 nines is the average?
It's the biggest jump.
Definitely, what's it called? When it has.
That's what I see most in most commercials. That's what I see in most commercials.
5 nines, 5 nines availability.
So my first thought is, if it's going to have an error this amount of time, what is the maximum dose a person would receive in that amount of time?
Oh, okay, base it on the
I
amount.
think health equipment needs to be like 8 nines.
8, wow, 8 nines. Oh my goodness, yeah, that's gonna be expensive.
Go for 12.
Yeah, it's gonna be expensive, but
Yeah,
it's
when
health
hospitals
equipment,
and
so
health, they gotta be pretty high.
It's gonna save
Games and
some
stuff, you don't
I
gotta
mean,
worry.
they already charge enough for.
All right, so well, let me make this. Let me throw another.
Well, no, I guess less than a second.
Okay, hold on. Let's throw another wrench in here.
Like a pacemaker.
All right, first part of this paper, answer how do we determine how much testing is necessary with regards to Therac? If the system is too expensive due to testing, then it would be inaccessible to certain individuals who cannot afford it.
That sucks.
If there's a viable, is there a viable reason to sell a less reliable, life-threatening system to potentially help more citizens? Obviously, or is there another way to solve these issues? And then, of course, my favorite is, once you've determined what level of security is in here, would you use the system?
I don't know before you die.
So yeah, I mean, first off, is there a viable reason to sell a less reliable, life-threatening system to potentially help more citizens?
No.
I mean,
It's
if people are
debated.
dying.
Oh, well, yeah, that's why we're here. Nice, well stated.
This is capitalism. Those guys can't afford it. It sucks to be dead.
Wow. Yeah, but no, it's also capitalism. If you can make it cheaper and have more people use it, you make more money.
That, what does the amount you would say make up for it?
Remember, this is ethical, so now you're talking about, now we have money and ethics, so, yeah, but is it still ethical to do that?
Is this what they call the real world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like,
If you were gonna sell it and it was less viable, or like if we
It was less reliable.
or less reliable, the comment that would be okay is if they're aware of that and increase the value so they can't afford the one that's more expensive.
Okay.
They accept the risk.
Okay, so all right, hold on. You point out two things here, is that the company would actually produce 2 units, one the really reliable one and the one less reliable one. And then if you chose the less reliable one, you have to sign a waiver stating that it's only this reliable and you may receive a deadly dose of radiation. Okay?
But are you gonna sign? Is anybody gonna sign that waiver?
If they don't have the money, they can sign the waiver against the patient.
Right, it's not, I mean, this thing was used on hundreds of people, and it only messed up on 6, and of those 6, only 3 people died.
Oh, that's not bad. I'm gonna take my chances now. I'm gonna hear that. I'm taking the chance.
Except 3 people died.
I'll take that.
Yes.
If those
He had 100?
Those people were supposed to live to be 100.
Have them
Those
sign
people
a
were supposed to
waiver.
live to be 100. That's
This
like
may
300 years just gone up.
But it's
Just
gonna
pop.
save your life.
Seriously,
Pop
well, they
up
just
in
died.
my-
Zero.
What's this?
You're doing them a favor. You're doing them a favor at that point. They get to meet God.
Oh.
Integrating faith. You get to meet God at the end of
On
the
only 100 years worth of life.
Yeah, but on the flip side, if you didn't
Pop,
release
pop
it,
the
how,
lights.
what about those other hundreds of people that are just going to die of cancer now?
Yeah, that's true. So they save hundreds of lives for the cost.
By killing 3, well, you know what I mean.
So in other
I'll take
words,
that.
this is a complicated subject that does not exactly have a simple answer.
Well, correct. Oh, nice. Well played, sir. Well played.
All right.
I say, hey, sacrifice 3 for That sounds like a fair trade. It sounds like a fair trade. I'm just saying.
All right, Tyler, here we go. Here's the question. Would you use the machine?
I would, yeah.
Okay, see, see, that's fair, right? No, he said he's sticking to his guns,
It's
right?
just like,
He's saying,
alright.
yeah, it kills 3 out of 100 people, I'll take my 3% chance. That's what he's saying.
Put your money where your mouth is.
People every day have surgeries where the doctor tells them, hey, you may not survive this, it just all depends if stuff goes right or wrong, so what's the
Yeah.
difference between that and the machine?
Well, the difference is with surgery, the doctor is doing, we'll just say, what if the doctor's doing the best that he can? Here, the company is making a choice of, are we doing 8 nines of reliability or only 3?
Oh, yeah.
So it's a preemptive choice.
But still beforehand, the guy gets the,
No, that's true. Yeah, you get a waiver, so.
the chance, like, you may die here, or you may die here. And
Okay.
Either way.
I would imagine there's an idea of like, continuous testing that, even though the product is sold like to a hospital once, you would have, hopefully you would have, the company would continuously like, do testing over time. Cause you said this affected like hundreds and hundreds of people before it actually got to
Right,
the air?
and I'm throwing that number out, I don't know what it exactly is, but there were, it was used for many years on many people.
They're definitely.
Well, I doubt that many people have cancer in the US, but I could be wrong,
Well,
yes.
yeah, that's a fair, that's a chance. You gotta take it.
You gotta take the
That's
chance.
not bad at all.
Hundreds of millions.
We also used to just leave the radiation.
You have a higher chance of dying walking out the door every day. And if they die, it was your time. God meant for you to die. He was waiting. He wanted you to come meet him.
And God forbid you update the machine and then something else breaks in it.
Yeah, but it'd be dead.
They just had extra radiation poisoning, so, but I don't recall the effects of radiation poisoning, because 6 people got radiation
Just an
poisoning.
immediate high dose of radiation.
If you survive, you're just more susceptible. I know you're more susceptible to it in the future, and you're at higher rates like leukemia and other
Once you do a certain amount of radiation,
But the thing about the 3 that died is they got it,
It's like
and then
10,000.
they died in like a week or 2. Is usually how that goes.
Well, maybe it's better to not struggle like
I'm sure they
cancer
were getting at least
longer,
6,000
but
7,000
I mean,
guys.
yeah, if
They
they,
were getting like that. And that's
I'm not defending
what, 2
the
seconds?
mistake, of course,
See?
the viewer.
That's the real limit. Like 2 seconds on that.
Well, that was fun.
And
Any other questions?
That's gonna be the worst thing ever. Dying like
This
that
is
a
one of the
lot-
better ones
It's
I
not
have.
as bad as like being stabbed 800 times.
Tyler, can I read your?
Well, the guy that got the poisoning, he said it felt like you were just burning me in that same spot over and over again, like you were just like that.
While the machine is going, he's just like, ow, ow.
He after the 3rd one, he got up and ran out.
Really?
I'm out of here.
What are you people doing?
How
I'm not
long
doing
did
this no
Oh,
more.
but that happened in less than 8 seconds.
Don't trust them.
Right. Yeah.
No, he didn't die. No, he died.
Well, he eventually, because
died.
the poisoning takes a week or 2 to kill you.
Oh, so he died?
He dies. Yeah, he died eventually.
You will die from radiation.
Yeah, you will die. It just takes time.
No, he's talking off that very.
Oh, he said he's got radiation poisoning while he's breathing down.
He will die. You shouldn't stop that.
So he talked about, he said before he died, he said it felt like it was burning him?
Yeah, it felt like they were just burning a hole in him. Is what it felt like.
It was like
Yeah.
the exact same spot.
Oh, this is
Wait,
weird. This isn't
where
working.
depends, where was the cancer on the body?
Oh, I didn't. You could look that up. I didn't.
Okay.
They probably did not release that because that would be PHI, personal health information.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Very inefficient system, man.
So it's like,
Imagine if somebody built like a weapon on it, like a ray gun. Just like radiation gun.
I mean, in a way, this is a death ray, right?
Exactly.
yeah, it's a
If you
concentrated
could turn that into
death
something
tool.
small.
Death, yeah.
Like at power.
I don't think that's what I meant. I don't think that's what I meant.
Okay.
Is all this being recorded?
Oh
Then
yeah.
how do you-
Oh
at
yeah.
that point- At that point, how would you say you wouldn't be able to be?
Oh yeah. This has been talked about a lot. This software is actually from the 80s, by the way.
Okay.
All right. So
I guess
again,
we'll-
I'm asking for 2 pages double spaced. If you're, my technique here is to try and give you as much as you can talk about as possible, so you can fill up those 2 pages and show me your opinion. So I do have one other thing to talk about, but you don't have to in your ethics paper. If you can fill up 2 pages with this, we're good. But if you need a little more, Here's the second thing. Consider that most U.S. states require a certification process for non-software engineering. So if you've talked about professional engineers or civil engineers, they have to have a certification in order to actually build a bridge. It helps ensure that engineers can build a reliable product. Should a similar process be required for software engineers?
Yeah. Depends on the software though, what you're trying to build.
Well, yeah. Do you need to be certified to write an Android app?
No.
Okay.
No, you don't, but if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it for it all. And just,
Yeah, do it for it all. Okay.
Yeah, and then nobody worries about it. If not, you know what I'm saying? It's done.
Okay. Get some legal protection. Okay.
Because then it's gonna be, oh well, if you do this, and there's gonna be a whole bunch of if that, third. Everybody just has the certification. It's done. Get in school. Don't think about it.
Oh well, it has to be integrated into the school system, so that's going to take a while. We don't have that here.
What if,
There's no programming certs.
and then I guess there's the idea of like, oh, if you're planning to go into specific, you know, like medically based, you know, if you have an interest in going to medical software,
Mhm.
you would maybe have hospitals require certification, I guess.
Right, okay.
I mean, that would make sense since you need to have you need to have someone who knows what they're doing at a very low level.
Okay. No one wants to say extra bureaucracy is not necessary.
It's not necessary.
We got one.
It's not,
It isn't
it's not
necessary,
for
but if
certain
they're gonna
things.
complain about it, you know, I'm gonna do it, like, it's not gonna hurt me. Having
Well,
a certification.
some of these certs take a while, like years and studying and multiple exams.
If it's years, never mind.
Besides-
Yeah, what if it doubles tuition for
Other than
anyone who wants to
medical
be like a
software,
software
you shouldn't need it.
engineer?
If it's for some medical software, you should need a certification. If not,
Should need a cert-
no
okay.
problem. That's fair.
Yes.
And then also like, I guess tuition costs, you have to also think about that for anyone who wants to be a software engineer.
Well, okay, remember, this is done by the U.S. states. So for regular engineering, the final exam is handed out by the state. Like you have to have the South Carolina engineering exam, and you must
Yeah.
pass that. It's not a university exam, it is a state exam.
Okay.
So would it still apply if you move to another state, for example?
No, you have to get recertified.
Don't you
Wow,
have a
every
certification?
state.
Yeah.
Don't trust me.
Yeah, it's the way the government system works here.
Why don't they just give
A lot of
federal
times it's for
exam?
the better, I would say. But yeah, there is, that's annoying, you move, you gotta retake it. But the thing about it is, when you move to another state, sometimes there's a reciprocity law, so they'll work. Or you retake the exam and it's not that big of a deal. It just costs some extra money, which usually your company's willing to pay, yes.
You have a certification?
I'm sorry?
You have like the certification or whatever?
Oh, don't I? I have security certifications. I don't have programming certifications.
Gotcha.
So I have Security Plus and CISSP. But that has nothing to do with actual programming, that's just security. Or I'll say very little with programming, I'll put it that way. Yeah, the software section of that was great. So we have encryption, like, oh yes, encryption. I think I know how this works. Okay, any other questions, comments, screams? All right, you are free to give your opinion on what you think is right or wrong regarding the way technology has impacted society and the moral obligations of a computer professional. However, you must provide a balanced discussion of it utilizing other sources created to a logical argument for your opinion. Good sources include the Bible, ACM Code of Ethics, and IEEE Code of Ethics. There's probably other sources or anything that you find that's respectable on the internet. I am learning for your ability to create a logical argument including 3 or more sources in the confines of 2 pages, 12-point font, double-spaced. Okay, guys, don't give me a novel. I don't want to read it. I'm just being honest. No. There's a reason I majored in computer science and math, and not English.
Because I hate writing and I hate reading.
I think grammar isn't
No
the
comments.
best.
No comments.
I think it's like
I
small
hate
enough where
writing.
grammar doesn't matter as much. So like on my papers, I'd be like, oh, it'd be like, oh, this is a great paper. It sounds good. Here's a 60. It's like, why? It's like, oh, there was one comma missing, so that's a bam, big old 16.
We're
Like,
driving novel and have like a 2-page abstract for it.
So I'm okay with that. You can do that as long as you don't turn in the abstract and not the novel.
No, but just the novel in a footnote.
No, you can't.
What a novel.
Yeah. All right, some good Bible quotes for you. All right, Deuteronomy 22:8. Actually, there was some good quotes here. What was this one? When you build a new house, make a parapet around your roof so that you may not bring the guilt of bloodshed on your house if someone falls off the roof. Yeah. Wait, what? All right.
Build that house in the rocks. Not the same.
What?
Build your house in the rocks. Not the same.
Right. Although, again, build a parapet so yeah, people don't die. Of course, nowadays you usually have a what's it?
It's a parapet.
Like a fence?
Yeah, it's like you ever been on an aircraft carrier? No.
Yes. But yeah.
Yeah, and if you go to the side, there are those giant nets that you. Okay, it's something similar to that.
Oh.
But nowadays they usually put spikes on the top and they put a cord and attach themselves, so if they fell, the cord would catch them.
Oh, yeah.
But why would someone be on your roof in the first place?
Well, someone has to build the roof, right?
Yeah.
what if it's already built?
So you have
What
to
if it's
make it first.
But someone has to build it. Again, when you build a new house.
What was it? That's what That's what like Chinese companies would do if their workers were prone to revolt. And what they would do is that the Chinese workers would threaten to throw themselves off the roof. So they were like, how do we fix this? And then so they put a net.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that doesn't help if you can throw yourself off the roof and you die, then what did you just gain? That doesn't make any sense. You put yourself on strike and then die.
Basically,
Then you don't
what
get your money and then you don't get to live the rest of your life either.
But it's China though.
But you showed them.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Gave them the what for it.
Stop. Stop. Take 3 days to replace it. Please stop. We can't have work stalled for that long.
That just reminds
That's
me
all right.
of
We'll
Chinese.
we'll
Was it
just
the
put
Chinese
next
fire
house
drill?
On the roof, it'll be all right.
Chinese
Get
fire
them
drill.
away.
Yeah, have you heard of that one? Oh, so
Chinese
I don't know, 1700s. The British Navy would hire Chinese people to help, just help with around the works on a ship, and so they wanted to do a fire drill where let's pretend like there's a fire at the bottom of the ship. So they told the Chinese translator that they want them to pick up a bucket of water, run down to the bottom of the boat, pretend to splash it on something, and then the other team would take a bucket to try, because you don't want your boat to fill up with water, another bucket, run back up, and then toss it over the end. This is just a drill, right? I mean, it makes some sense. It's a drill to put out fires if it's in the middle. And so they talked to they talked amongst themselves, all the Chinese men, and then when they hit go, what happened was they would pick up a bucket from one side of the boat, run over to the other, and then dump it off, and then run back, pick up another.
So they weren't actually trying to put out a fire?
It just got translated. It got mistranslated. is
Chinese
what-
fire drills mean to swap seats in a car.
Yeah, that's where eventually it turned into the vehicle version of it. Yeah, where you're just kind of running around.
Or swapping somebody else's car.
This, by the way, that story has nothing against Chinese men. Obviously, the translators had a funny situation. Blah 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 blah. If I just did a Title IX violation.
Yeah, obviously he has to cover all bases.
Yeah, blah blah blah.
The question
blah.
is
You have a
how-
problem? Come talk to me after class. I did not mean it. Blah, blah. Okay.
Dr. West. I'm
I'm offended. Dr. West. First Corinthians. Yes.
So, for example, would 2 quotes from the Bible count as two sources?
Oh, that's a good one. Sure. Why not? All right, 1 Corinthians 8:9. But take care that this right of yours does not somehow become a stumbling block for the weak. That one might be slightly out of context, but
Very.
well, not quite. I mean, you are a software programmer. The patient probably is not. It's a little out of context, I'll admit, but
Well, it can be applied.
yeah, it can be applied. All right, you're the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses saltiness, oh yeah, this one. How can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by men. You're the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand and give light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men, Let me see your good deeds and praise Father in heaven. All right. Don't be the guy. This one's more of if you're the software programmer and you see an error, like there's not enough testing, you probably should report it up the chain. Because the software tester, I guess we didn't talk about that too much. He was probably under a lot of pressure to get this thing shipped out because he's the one guy holding up the train, right? So there probably should have been a little more communication, or he should have stood his ground more.
Yeah, and isn't that just kind of just like isn't that not a good idea in general? Just have like one person making something as ambitious as that.
We call it nowadays. A lot of people have the hit by the bus number. So how many people would have to die in order for your project to come to a halt or get hit by the bus, as they like to perform? So if that number is 1, you are in trouble. And you want that number to actually be pretty high because you don't want anyone to be the single point of failure. And generally you want more than 2 people as well because someone can quit and then something else can happen.
So
You
one
want
person
people
dying
dying
is
by
better
the
than
bus.
1% COVID.
There was a couple months back. There was a story that on Reddit where it's like a guy got hired for a programming job, and what happened was that he ended up I think they were working with SQL or something, and he ended up deleting the entire database. But what happened was that he posted on Reddit hey, what can I do to fix this? Because the guy, I guess the senior the thing about it, the senior project manager, he came and he was like, oh my god, what did you do? And basically told him to get out, even though he was he could have said, hey, what happened so we can fix this? And
I have seen that
We don't
happen
have
before.
backups, that's what happened.
It was a good argument because a lot of people were like, oh yeah, it's the programmer's fault. But then other guys if you guys know Eli the computer guy, YouTube, maybe?
Oh yeah.
He was saying that it was the senior project manager's fault for not having backups.
Yeah, you have
If
I mean, you can assign blame to both,
if your
really.
entire company was brought to a halt by a single person.
Right? Yeah. You got other problems.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting story.
All right. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. AK, would you use the machine? Yes.
Why didn't that programmer just hit Control Z?
I love that.
So, previous to the 25, everything was done in pure hardware. There was no software. So this was the first time software was used.
Previous to what?
So the Therac 25, aka Model 25, Model 20 and below, or the previous models, were all hardware based.
Oh, okay.
So that's why, he was saying, why don't you just undo it and go back to the old? Well, there wasn't any. All right, do not let unwholesome talk come into your mouths, but what is helpful to building up others according to their needs, that they may benefit those who listen. And then, everything's permissible, but not everything's beneficial. AK, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Do not, and of course, don't seek your own good, but the goodness of others. This might be a little more about companies and, selling products.
How much money they spend on this?
How much you said. Yeah, exactly. All right, any questions?
Well, I guess I gotta leave college and go do volunteer work. You gotta do the good of others for others,
Well,
No.
you could finish college and go to a job that can actually affect more people than you would doing volunteer work.
Blam.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, wow. Going back,
Goat.
Yeah, aren't you a capitalist? Capitalist is helping people. Come on.
you're so right.
All right, you have until April 5th to write this paper. I hope that's enough time. You're free, of course, to submit it earlier. I'll have to open that up on Blackboard, but yeah. Well, actually, you'll have to submit it in Blackboard, so I'll have to open that up. Any questions?
Brass leaders of the world unite tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, unite
Yes.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow. All right. Good talk. Anything else? All right. That is all for today. Have a good weekend.